Two young executives team up to defraud shareholders and employees of millions in what turns out to be the largest bribery and embezzlement scam ever to rock the Brazos Valley. This week on an all-new American Need for Greed. The story begins in the unassuming town of Bryan College Station, where both Tyler Mays and Parker Wells attend the local university. They graduate quickly and with honors, and move to a local construction firm, Brazos Valley Construction, after graduating.
We were friends back in college. We had this idea back when we were kids. We both graduated early. We got out after only three and a half years. Came and started doing construction immediately. We were both pretty high up in our class. Both seemed like pretty smart guys, so figured might as well team up. I worked there for not a very long time, maybe 5 years. Everything happened really quickly. I had just turned 31 years old. I was making upwards of $5 million in salary. That goes along with stock options and other things as well. So
I moved into the company as an accounting manager, then up as a controller, and then I eventually made it to the CFO. I worked for the company for 10 years, and then after the scandal and everything came out, I was incarcerated. Luckily, though, I got off by releasing some details and testifying against the board of directors and the CEO.
On the surface, they just tried to seem like down home guys. They were trying to be friendly, they tried to show that they were helping each other, but sometimes those feelings can equate to selfishness and just trying to save yourselves and your families and not help the general public.
They are all, both of them are very creative and very funny, have a sense of humor, and they have their principles of doing this and not doing that. So I think that is a basic impression they give me. I never expect this kind of illegal things will happen on them.
They started out as a small company in a small town and the profile fit. Eventually, after they started performing illegal practices, everything took off. Now, it eventually got too good to be true, but the company was bringing all this wealth in and doing all this business, so no one wanted to believe that anything wrong was going on.
Only 2 weeks after having completed their most recent project, a bribery scandal broke that shook the company and sent waves rippling through the community.
The company wanted to project an image that it was a company built by and for the community. They started out small right here in College Station. They hired from inside the city, and they like to promote from within. And so part of the reason they could get away with what they were doing was because within the company, everyone was supposed to be friends, and you weren't supposed to go against one another.
Other than, I always thought they were swell people. Matter of fact, Tyler and Parker, they're the guys everybody wanted to be, They're closing the big deals, going out to these extravagant dinners, incredible vacations. I mean, these guys were gods. They're who everybody wanted to be. I even wanted to be them. Reports show vacations and extravagant high-profile activities that the CEO and CFO engaged in while at the head of the company.
Well, there was a couple trips to Key West. There was a couple trips to Las Vegas, Miami, North Shore in Hawaii was a big one. Let's see, definitely Mexico, definitely Cancun, Playa del Carmen, those types of places. Tropical, easy to relax, drink pina coladas. How would you spend $1 million in Vegas?
When interviewed, ex-employees describe aggressive accounting tactics, as well as horrific verbal beatdowns that were suffered by the CEO and CFO when expectations weren't met.
They never really said anything that they would do to me, but it was more like, you want your job, you want to keep it, then you're going to do this. It was mainly on my part to kind of make the change or to do something about it, and I never did. I received some stock options and some high bonuses at the end of the year for doing these things.
A lot of the charges brought against me are not warranted. I should probably have a lawyer here talking about this, but
Coming up next on American Need for Greed, a bribery scam goes all wrong.
Just open this envelope in case it's something important, and the secretary found out there's a bunch of cash.
it's, you can only fit so much money in an envelope, but it was several thousand over the course of several weeks.
On May 12th, a secretary stumbled across an envelope containing $10,000 left on the newly appointed mayor's desk. Questions were raised as to where the money came from and what was its purpose.
The money is delivered to the wrong guy who's not supposed to receive it. Yes, there's no address on the envelope, no receiver's name. Actually, the money was just put on the desk that the people is supposed to receive, but that people is on vacation. So that people's secretary just opened this envelope in case it's something important, and the secretary found out there's a bunch of cash, probably thousands of dollars in cash, the pure cash, not check, no name, no address. Every point for this envelope and cash is suspicious. Yes.
When it broke, it was just by accident. Someone received an envelope that they shouldn't have received, and thankfully they called their organization's fraud hotline, which eventually made it to us.
Less than 2 weeks after the envelope appeared, the DA had Parker Wells arrested for embezzlement and fraud during his time as CEO of Brazos Valley Construction.
Well, I don't want to incriminate anyone, but it was a local politician. It did get delivered to the wrong person. They're under investigation right now. There's not a lot that I want to say about it, but I will say that it was one of the higher up people in town.
The acts are almost astonishing, even for someone in my position. It started out as just a single act of bribery to try and help get a job, and from there it just snowballed. More and more and more cases, which led to embezzlement, which led to cooking the books, just to try and cover up that single act.
Everything happened really quickly. I would say I was more the face of it than the actual people that were behind it, the culprits, if you will. Well, I don't know if it was him specifically, but honestly, whenever things break, you get nervous. You throw people under the bus. It happens. It's hard to say whenever you're under pressure from an FBI agent. It's hard to really tell what you're going to do. I'm not going to give away too much, but there was an F in his title.
Parker Wells maintains he's still not the head of the criminal mastermind that defrauded shareholders of millions. But then who is? Could ex-CFO Tyler Mays really have been the one who cost shareholders in the community at large hundreds of millions of dollars in one of our nation's largest accounting scams ever? Find out next time on American Need for Greed.